Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Tuesday show. Happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. Be sure to enjoy your green beer today and try and find as many leprechauns as you can. All right, so the Brewers, typically you see in spring training here that you're going to have, teams play with kind of like green stuff on the jerseys and kind of get into the St. Patrick's theme, green hats with the four-leaf clover and all that. Brewers have an off day today, so they're not going to be doing that. It remains to be seen if they'll do that tomorrow, do that on Wednesday, when they get their chance to play in the St. Patrick's Day uniforms, even though it'll be a day after and everyone will be hungover from St. Patrick's Day. But, hey, we shall see. But the Brewers have the day off here today. However, they have made another round of camp cuts here for us to talk about. And the big one here is Jet Williams, acquired in the Freddie Peralta trade. Jet Williams has been reassigned to minor league camp. This is not entirely surprising to me. After the Brewers signed Luis Rengifo, it seemed very clear, okay, they were going to go with Rengifo and David Hamilton to cover third base and the utility infield spot for the time being. Give Jet Williams a little bit more time in AAA to get ready. Same with Cooper Pratt. Same with Brock Wilken. And Brock Wilken as well among the cuts here for the Brewers. So the total list from the cuts here: Jet Williams, Brock Wilken, Luis Lara, another outfield prospect, he had a really good season last year, and Jacob Wagspack, a non-roster invitee. They have all been reassigned to minor league camp. And then also pitcher Carlos Rodriguez has been optioned to AAA Nashville. Again, none of these cuts are really surprising. Rodriguez has had a couple of cups of coffee with the Brewers, has been a starter. His likely future with the Brewers is as a reliever. He's kind of a kitchen sink guy, doesn't have overpowering stuff, and with the number of options that the Brewers have for the rotation, it's really going to be tough for Rodriguez to crack it. I just don't think he has the upside of these other starting pitchers that the Brewers have. So he's going to head down to AAA Nashville, as will Luis Lara, Brock Wilken, Jet Williams, and Jacob Wagspack. So that's the round of camp cuts here for the Brewers. Now, what that means here for the roster, because the Brewers have been rolling with a spring training roster here that's been pretty full here, going pretty late into spring training here. I mean, we are less than a week and a half away from opening day. And the Brewers, up until now, have had 43 players remaining in camp. And now, obviously, with these cuts, we bring down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they are down to 38 on the spring training roster. You got to get down to 26, so you got 12 more cuts that they got to make over the next 9 days. So those decisions are going to be made here soon, but the next round of camp cuts are done as the Brewers continue to move on. And it's kind of unfortunate timing for some of these guys because they were having some fantastic games here, especially on Monday. The Brewers taking on the Dodgers and beat them 24-9. Now, I know I've said multiple times on here that spring training games don't matter. They don't count. The Brewers nearly were no hit. They nearly were perfectoed the other day, and now the next day, 24 runs on a lot of walks as well, and just kind of some crazy happenings. Again, the results really don't matter, and after a while, it just kind of became kind of a joke. It's like, really, like, we're still doing this, and it was going crazy. But it always feels good to put up 24 runs, spring training game or whatever. It feels good. And a lot of guys got a lot of at-bats. That's the important part too. You get a ton of reps when you put up 24 runs. A lot of ABs for everybody. So that's great. Again, game doesn't really matter. It does not mean the Brewers are going to be 15 runs better than the Los Angeles Dodgers as the season goes along or when it gets to the NLCS again. But still, it's a fun day at the ballpark. It was a long day, though. It was like a 4-hour game. Jeff Levering and Lane Grindle were getting kind of slap-happy towards the ninth inning because they'd been on the air for so long. But it was fun. It really was. And just, looking at the numbers for some of these guys, and that's where, again, it's sad, too, for, a guy like Jet Williams. The Brewers even tweeted about how good Jet Williams was doing. Jet Williams, 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI, run scored, a walk, upped his Cactus League stats to a 417 batting average and an OPS over 1,300. And he gets rewarded with being reassigned to minor league camp. Again, not a surprise at all. But that ends up happening. Tyler Black comes back, gets 3 RBIs. Grand slam for Brandon Lockridge. That's fun to see. Luis Rengifo, 2 for 4 in this game. Chad Patrick got hit around quite a bit. Did not look that sharp. Trevor McGill struck out the side. Jared Koenig struck out the side. So those are a couple of positives there to see those guys pitching well. But I want to talk a little bit about Brandon Lockridge here a little bit more because he is putting himself back into that conversation for the Brad Nelson Award. Now, my buddy Billy Schmidt over at Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin 920, he's like, hey, man, why are we cursing Brandon Lockridge with this already? But look, I think that curse might already be sent in with just who, with just the history of the guys who just dominate in spring training for the Milwaukee Brewers and then what they end up doing in the regular season. It's just happened so many times before. Whether you call it the Brad Nelson Award or the Vinny Capra Award or whatever it is, there's just kind of has been a curse on it, which is why we have the ironic name for it. But Brandon Lockridge, grand slam to make it a 10-run fifth inning for the Brewers. And he is now hitting .323 with a 1204 OPS on the spring. 3 for 5 today, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored. And, Lockridge, he was talking about this afterwards as well. Kind of overhauled his swing a little bit in the offseason. Went to a private hitting facility in Philadelphia. And, made some changes. And just trying to be more of a contact guy, trying to be able to, also gear his swing a little bit better. So, good for him. The results clearly seem to be there at the time being. Again, there's only so much you can read into spring training stats. But Lockridge made some changes to his swing here over the offseason, and he likes where they've got him so far, and it's hard to blame him. And we'll see what that will result in over the course of the season, because perhaps that could really change the upside here for Brandon Lockridge. It could change his future, his trajectory here with the Milwaukee Brewers. I still think he's on the outside looking in for this roster as cutdown day is approaching here. But he is really having a very, very strong spring. And he can be in that contention, especially now with Akil Baddoo out for several weeks here. He's going to be that first guy that they call if they have an opening in the outfield that pops up. He's going to be the first one there. So he's putting himself in prime position, but there's still kind of an uphill battle there to make the opening day roster as things go along. But Brandon Lockridge, a grand slam, you love to see it. Whether it's spring, whether it's May, whether it's October, you love to see grand slams all the time. Unless you're a pitcher, then you kind of hate those things. But still, a lot of fun for Brandon Lockridge there. All right, and finally here, the WBC is finally coming to an end here tonight. It feels like it has kind of gone so fast, but after the week and a half here of play, we finally have the finals matchup, USA-Venezuela. We're going to have 4 Brewers in the WBC finals. We're going to have someone walking away with a gold medal. Bryce Terang with Team USA. And then Team Venezuela takes down Italy. You got Jackson Chourio, William Contreras, and Angel Serpa on that team. They take down Italy 4-2. And Jackson Chourio played a big role in that, getting the first single of the big rally there for Team Venezuela, put runners on the corners. And then Ronald Acuna comes up, does his thing, gets a single. Then you get Michael Garcia with a single, Luis Arraez with a single. Jackson Chourio was the go-ahead run there for Team Venezuela. Angel Serpa came in and he had a jam. Team Italy was threatening to get some runs across the board. Angel Serpa comes in and strikes out Andrew Fisher. That was an all Brewers moment. You had Serpa on the mound, you had William Contreras, the catcher, Andrew Fisher hitting. So it's like you got all Brewers everywhere here. Kind of a cool moment until Zerpa nearly killed Fisher. I mean, he had 97 fastball up and in that just rode out of the hand and just brushed him way back. I mean, he went straight to the ground. Just whoa, life flashing before your eyes kind of moments. Like, hey, Zerpa, dude, let's not kill the kid here, okay? You guys are going to be on the same side in 2 days. Like, let's chill out here. So, still, he got out of the inning. He painted 97 on the corner for the final strikeout to end the inning. Huge emotional moment, but I could get used to seeing Angel Zerpa paint 97 on the corner throughout the season. Seeing him in high leverage situations here, we saw what he did to Ohtani, struck out Shohei Ohtani, 97 painted on the corner on the outside. Now doing it again here in the semifinals. So I could very much get used to seeing Angel Zerpa in high leverage situations, facing lefties, and just being an absolute dog out there as well. So it's going to be very exciting WBC finals here tonight, where there's going to be Brewers all over the board. Terang, Chourio. We'll see if Contreras plays or Salvi Perez at catcher for Venezuela, but Chourio's been in there pretty consistently. Zerpa may pitch, but also he's pitched the last couple of games for Venezuela, and then it's going to be a back-to-back, so maybe he'll be able to go for that inning, maybe not. We shall see, but relievers will have to go back-to-back sometimes, so maybe he'll be available for Venezuela, but we can expect to see Terang, expect to see Chourio, potentially Contreras, and potentially Angel Zerpa. But it is going to be an absolute madhouse down there in Miami. USA, Venezuela, huge Venezuelan crowd. Also, a lot of American fans going to be there as well. It's going to be a lot of fun, and especially with no Brewer game here today, that's really going to be where my attention is all throughout the day here. So very excited for that. Going to be a thrilling WBC finals, and we're going to see at least one Brewer, potentially 3 Brewers, but at least one getting out of there with a WBC gold medal. So USA, Venezuela, 7 o'clock tonight. That is going to be appointment watching for me. Can't wait for it. And then after that, all these guys are going to be coming back to Brewers camp, and they're going to be happy and ready to go and finishing up that last week of Cactus League play, and then we're on to the regular season. It's hard to believe, but it's next week, Thursday already. So that's coming up fast. And again, as we continue to get ready for it, be sure to subscribe to Brewers Daily. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. And follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.